introduce for today the general evaluator who will be going through our evaluation section. Please help me welcome Scott to the stage.
Sorry. Thank you for the double clapping. Today I'll be the general evaluator so I will be introducing the evaluator for the section and help moving the process on. And at the end of this, I will also call on the duty masters to report on what we are doing with timers, grammarians, word master, and so on. Oh, we didn't have a word master today. And finally give a evaluation on how we did in the evaluation process, and if we have anything to kind of talk about for the other aspects of the meeting. For example, do we handle well on time? Do we give a good introduction to the guest and how the topic is? So eventually I will give it back to the president. I give it back to the president or to the Toastmaster.
You're going to return control to the Toastmasters after the evaluation section.
Yeah. Okay, so that would be what we're doing. So I guess we have finished with writing down the comments for our final talk. So I will be introducing our first evaluator. Because we switched speech today, so I guess we will start with the evaluator for our first talk, which is Sam. We'll be evaluating the speech from Jose, right? From Praneet, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you, Scott. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially Puneet, congratulations on your icebreaker. So today I'm going to give you feedback about your speech. I'm going to talk about the content of your speech, and then I'm going to talk about the good qualities you already have, where you can start building on top of that, and some things to improve on. And I'm also going to challenge you because you already seems like you're very comfortable speaking. I'm going to challenge you with more things to improve on. So let's get started. So content, I think as soon as you came here, you started off with a joke, which was really good. I think that kind of calmed your nerve a little bit because the first speech is a little bit tough to like come in front and like stand and like speak. I think that you did a good job of starting with a joke. And you talked about how a simple person you are. You talked about your struggles, but you didn't want to make that big. You just want to like talk about other things. And then you spoke about wedding in India, how things were, and then you spoke about your wedding. And there are a lot of places where we were able to like laugh with you. There are a lot of jokes in there. I think everybody enjoyed your speech. I think the content was really good. So there are a lot of good qualities already you have. One thing which I really noticed was the first speech. I was super nervous. And I didn't see you nervous at all. You're a lot comfortable in front of the people. I think you were already like 2 or 3 steps ahead. I think. One other thing I noticed was you didn't use notes. A lot of people, the first speech, they probably have notes, which is like another really good thing. You had good eye contact. You also had like good hand gestures you had, which are all really good qualities. I think you can start building on top of that. And things to improve on. I think this is just myself. I thought like I want to learn more about you. The content could have been like a little bit about your interest. You could have given a little bit more things so that next time we see you, we know what you like and things like that. You gave us some good content. I would have expected a little bit more about you. Um, oh, one more thing. Well, so your topic, you said friends, but I didn't hear anything about it in your speech.
Was your topic friends? At least it said it on the.
No, actually, I just wrote my journey.
Oh, okay.
maybe-
Okay,
maybe
so
it
there
was
was
last-
some
It
mistake
was from
there.
last week.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it said friends. I'm like, okay, what? I couldn't connect it, so I thought like, okay, so probably some other mistake. So one thing I want to leave you with is one challenge. I think you already were 2 or 3 steps ahead. I think you could have made everything as a connected story. It felt like your like bits and pieces were given, but you could have made it as a connected story, which would have been like lot. The flow would have been like lot nicer to listen to. I went back home and how your marriage was and like what happened during the wedding or the food they gave, all those things you would have connected everything and the flow would have been a lot nicer. Looking forward to your next speech. Thank you. Back to.
Thank you very much, Sam. So our next evaluator will be evaluating Jose's speech, and this will be Kazu. Please welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Fellow Toastmasters, I don't know if you have guests, but Jose, first of all, I'm sorry I'm late, but I didn't miss your speech. That's good. Jose, you did really good job. I think your purpose of this speech is try to provide some interesting topic to everyone so that we can discuss further.
Alright.
And then you gave that purpose in front of everyone at the beginning of your speech. You started from there, and you also provide some questions. You throw questions to everyone, like if we have, if any of us has a list of to do things, and then that way you kind of bring everyone, audience, into your speech, and try to. You also throw some questions, like if you are running something or if you are doing something right, something like that, and that way you kind of try to connect you with the audience. And then next one, you start from your 6 elements, right? Spiritual, physical, manage time, emotional, mental, and reality. You told that well by providing some how to apply it by each element, and then you provide that. Something to improve. Try not to hold your hands right here, because that kind of makes you feel like nervous or not confident, like I am right now. And then use of stage. You have a lot of space here. You can move around from right to left. Try to look at everyone. And then the last thing, you provide how to apply those 6 elements, and you did well. But I kind of want to hear more about the result from your past experience by applying these 6 elements. That's something that I kind of want. Pretty much it. Thank you very much.
I hope you liked the previous 2 evaluations. The final evaluations we have today will be for our third speaker, Raj, and the evaluator is Tony.
So, Raj, I really like the concept that you share, because it point out to one of the biggest problems to most people here that we face, that the communication problem. We say something and they don't get what we want at the same place, right? So this is the concept is really good. Second thing, you start with a very good eye contact and you look around the room and you keep controlling the people's attention by your body language. But then I don't think like you drop your energy or you lose confidence, I don't know, but and then like the second half of your speech, you just focus on this side, and your eyes start to be less attentive. Like when you look into somebody's eyes and look straight to their eyes and catch their attention rather than you just look around and see without any attention. Okay. You have the various tone. You can do various tone in your speech, but if a little bit improvement in the pause, because sometimes when you switch from one part to the other part of your speech, just a small signal can help the audience to keep pace with what you are saying. So pause is helpful, and the tone of you can do it. Pay attention to it, and do a little bit more meaningful. You have some filler words? Yeah. Okay. I like the example of the Game of Thrones. Yeah, because by starting with that, people will see like you align everyone on the same page, and with that, you can make a good start of your speech. Okay. There are two more things I think you can control. Is that your facial expression and the facial expression and the energy during your speech. So let's say if you tell someone something that you mean to do, things like what you think, what you say, and what is happening on your face and your body, it should be the same. People will catch it. Like it's early in the morning, right? Sometimes people like sleepy, but if you can pump the energy into your speech, and if you can show that the facial expression, if you say something hilarious, you should smile. Yeah, smile more. Okay. Oh yeah, I like that. And if you say something serious, like this, to be a little bit serious. Okay. That's just sharing for you, and thank you very much. I would like to put the control back to Scott.
So according to my agenda on hand, our next, it would be, I should give it back to the Toastmaster
I'm gonna give it to
and introduce Table Topic Master. Is it Muhammad today?
well, you'll return it to me. And
Yeah.
I'll introduce it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
It's a little strange. I'll be up here for 2 seconds introducing our table topics master for today, Muhammad. Please help me welcome.
So today's theme is service. So I thought that we can talk about service. So all the table topics that I have are around service. So I'm giving you a hint a little bit to be a little bit prepared about that. So the first question that I have is it important to provide service to others? Yes or no? And if it's yes or no, and why do you think that way? So I'm going to ask Wai Ming to answer that.
He's stopping still.
Even though he's trying to hide.
Do you mind repeating the question?
So is it important to provide service to others? Yes or no? And whatever your answer is, why?
Okay, Mr. Table Topics Master, Toastmaster, most welcome guest. Is it important to provide service to others? Definitely. That's always the answer. Every time someone asks that question, is it important to provide service to someone? You always say yes. Because that's how it should work. People need to feel that you are providing service. And in fact, it is very important to off because we live among everyone. We depend on each other in the sense that when I come in the morning, I start driving, I go on the road, I have to give way to the guy next to me when I'm driving, and he has to do the same thing to me, and we go together on the road. Otherwise, we'll run into each other. And that's sort of an analogy of when we live together. That's how society grows. That's why we have to provide service to each other. And also, just in terms of how we convey that to others,
we talk about service, we should also say, whether you believe it or not, that yes, you always provide service because that's how we establish rapport with others. So, two reasons why we want to provide service. One is we just live together, we have to work together, we provide service to each other. The second one, we have to say it to establish rapport. Mr. Toastmaster. Now, what is the word today? There's no word. So
There's no
Okay, so Wyoming thinks that it's really important to provide service to others. So the next question is that if you think that is important, what makes you decide on providing service to somebody to do it or not? So we can ask Jennifer. Do you remember the question?
Can you repeat, please?
What makes you decide on providing service to somebody?
Okay. Thank you, Mohammed, for a very good question. Actually, when I'm running here, I try to think what are the 3 things that will make me decide to help someone or to give the service to someone. I think the very first thing that I would love to offer the service is that for someone I care about. In life, right, we can please everyone and we don't have unlimited time to spend our energy or our effort. So for sure, the people we care about is the ones that I would offer my time, my energy, and my effort to. The second is when I feel that if I offer this service to this person, he or him will create more values to others. It means that indirectly offer my time and my energy to. That will be the one that I will give my priority to give the service to. And third is, even though when we offer the service, we don't expect anything back from them, it's a pay it forward. But for sure, when we give the service and we receive the appreciation or at least the respect from that person, that will, when I feel like I will continue giving the service again to him or her. That is my 3 things that decide if I will give the service to that person or not. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so we try to keep that in mind next time that we are providing service to others. So the next question is, what life lessons did you learn through providing service? It can be, hopefully it's providing service by yourself, but if it's not from service that you provided, maybe from other people. So the next person can be Hannah, because she is closing her notebook.
She already knew.
So, what life lessons did you learn through providing service?
Good morning, Toastmasters, and I don't know if there's any guests. I can draw upon one example of service when I was a manager out in Hayward, and I had a customer who called me on the phone over the weekend, and right when we were closing, and she was in tears, and she said, "My family's been in a car accident. They took away my family in the car, and I don't know what happened to them. Can you find out what's going on?" And I was, ready for the weekend. It was closing time, and it was almost like an hour or 2 I spent on the phone with her. And it turned out her family got airlifted to the hospital. They took away the car, and she was in tears because she thought they all died in the car. I was working at Enterprise Rent a Car, and so I took an extra hour or so to be with her on the phone, and she's like, "Can you just stay on the phone with me? I just need somebody to talk to because I don't know what's going on." And nobody's giving me any answers. I went to the hospital. They don't know where they are. They don't know where they got airlifted to. And it was just this whole mess. And she's like, "Nobody from customer service wanted to help me, and you're the only one I could talk to." And so I went out of my way, stayed on the phone with her. She ended up a few weeks later coming into the office, and she's like, I just want to thank you personally for what you did. She's like, not everybody would stay on the phone with me, and I really just wanted somebody to just talk to through this whole experience, because I didn't know what happened to my family. It turns out, they didn't die. She was fine in the car, but the 3 other people that got taken away, they recovered or were recovering, and so she's like, just having somebody to talk to was a huge big deal. So even if we think like a small act of service, like being on the phone with somebody, like through a hard time, even if they're not telling you what's everything that's going on. I think I got that from my parents and my family, but even small little things like that, showing your support for a friend or listening to somebody when they're going through a tough time, I think it makes a huge difference. So like, don't undervalue that. It would just be a life lesson.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, as she mentioned, sometimes we can do very small things, but can be really big thing for others. So when we are thinking about service, it doesn't mean that we have to spend hours or days providing service. Sometimes with few minutes we can have a big impact on others' life. So the next question is, have you provided any service worth remembering by others? So Mina, are you comfortable to talk about that?
Oh, what's the question again?
Have you provided any service worth remembering by others?
Remembering
By others?
remembering by others?
If you are comfortable, you don't have to speak, you are guest. But we would like you to talk.
I'm sorry, I cannot think of
Okay, so the next person to you is Kazu, so we'll ask
Thank you. So any services that I provide
Yes,
and remember by
Worth
others.
remembering.
worth remembering.
Worth
You think that it was worth remembering?
I don't know if I have done anything good for this world, but So I like to organize some events, and then one of the things I did in the past, which and then I haven't done for a long time, is organizing the weekly hiking for everyone, and then including myself. I think we used to go like a lot, like every week, right, Prakash?
Yes.
Like you were smarter at that time. I don't know about right now, but just by comparing how you looked like at that time and then how you look like right now, I feel like okay, I think it may be good to provide some kind of weekly hiking for everyone, so that we can maintain our smart body, right? So that's the one thing I could. Yeah, Tony, you too. After I get married, I think you don't have any chance to go hiking, but you could. Yeah, that's the thing I think I have done the best in my life. Back to Hamid.
Thank you. So the next question is like hypothetical situation. If you had the opportunity to get 1 day per week to provide service, what would that service be? For example, assume that your employer said that you are paid for 1 day, you don't need to come to work, but you have to provide service to others. What would be that service? Prakash is thinking hard about it, so I think
Yeah, I thought myself like I'll be the next person to call upon. Can you repeat your question?
like imagine, like for example, your employer
One
said that
day off.
1 day
What will be
you are
my
not
service?
off, you are not
Okay,
coming to office,
paid.
but you have to provide service.
Okay.
What kind of service that would
Yes. Yeah, recently I was thinking or watching YouTubes or reading a lot about our food habits and our activities and our health. As Kazu rightly said, earlier we used to go every week hike, and we should maintain our physical fitness. It is not just about our fitness, right? It is a whole activity, and the majority of our work lifestyle, we just go and sit in a place for 8 hours, and the amount of the the quantity what we eat may or may not require, or it may not be required that much energy what we eat, or it may not be or our in other way, the activity what we do that may not require that much energy what we eat. So in that sense, I'm just maybe thinking of creating some YouTube channels, like how or what we can eat and in what quantity, and what should be the time gap. Normally we will see eat in less quantity in frequent interval, whether that is true, or eating a one quantity and give some gap both your eye and mouth. If your eye sees something, obviously back in the background of your mind, it will say go and grab and eat it. So it needs a break both for your eye and mouth. So I'm just thinking in that line, especially nowadays we have so much exposure to the resource, and we also bombarded with the so much knowledge which may or may not true. So we need to use our wise thinking whether it is really good for me and my activity and the lifestyle, whether it is really applicable to me as such. Everyone will have the specific customized plan based on their daily life and activity and their usage. This is my thought of providing service. Maybe it is cool.
So you talked about like eating and the amount of energy that we consume and timing. So I have an idea for your first YouTube. When you go to buffet, have a small portion. You walk, get a small portion, then walk, consume energy, then eat it. So the next question that we have is, what is the service you received that you are most grateful for? For that, we can have Mark.
It's a tough question. I remember, I guess I could say I view teaching and sort of mentoring and being a parent as sort of an active service, at least to your kids and to your students. So, yeah, I would have to say the service that I'm most grateful for is that sort of being there to answer any questions that I have, because I'm a person who has like a lot of questions. And every time I go to a meeting, my managers will always laugh because I bring like a notebook filled with questions to ask at the end of the meeting, like before the meeting has started. So, but they'll always take the time, similar to my parents when I was younger, they'll take the time to answer any and all questions, even though there's, sometimes there'll be the knowledge gap where they already know a lot of what I'm asking. It's an act of service to convey information when you already know it, because it's not really bringing you anything else. It's purely in service of others, in that case myself. So I would say, yeah, the act of service that I'm very grateful for is people who are willing to answer questions that others have, even though it may not help them directly in any sort of way. That's my answer.
So I think based on the time, we are done with table topic. Now, Scott, as our general evaluator.
Since Raj is taking a phone call, you can pass the ballots to me and I'll go ahead and count them. So please fill out your ballots for best table topics, best speaker, and best evaluator, and rip it off, pass it over here.
Should I wait or should I talk now?
You can go ahead. They'll be passing it during.
Okay, so it will be my pleasure to give a little note on what we have for the evaluations. So I'll start with what I think about the evaluations, and then I'll give some touch on how we did on the other parts of the meeting. So first, for Puneet's speech, we have Sam as the evaluator. I think Sam's very you did very well on starting out with what you will be talking about. So that's a very good starting point, and you have a very good eye contact with Puneet. So that was a good communication. And you relate to your own experience about how you did your first your icebreaker and what other people have done to give a comparison or give a reference on what do you think Puneet did. So I think that's a very good way to convey that idea that you did well in, starting with a joke, right, and have an interesting story, and go with the story with kind of a good flow, right? You also have, I already covered that you have good eye contact, and I think especially with the icebreaker, you may be given a little bit too many advice. So maybe just focus on one or two so that it will be more and give it more volume. For example, I don't know if this is the fashion that you would like to do it, but maybe take an example of what Puneet has said or part of the story that you think can be improved, and maybe just give an example of how you would do it. Things like that to give a more in-depth one or two advice other than covering everything that can be improved, because that would be more actable.